I'm delighted to have with me today Lynn Chiavaro, who has had over the course of two careers, both of which are quite interesting to me, success based on some of the things that we're going to be talking about. So, Lynn, your transition from being a basketball coach to being a financial in the financial services industry with Northwestern Mutual must have been quite a change in the routines of your life. You talk a little bit about what was involved from your standpoint?
Well, I stopped coaching without really knowing what I wanted to do, and I got recruited
Hmm.
by someone who's a friend of mine now. And I was like, I can't do, I don't know anything. I didn't, I'm a basketball coach. I didn't know anything about sales, but you don't realize you're selling West Point when you go and talk to high school, you're talking to 17-year-olds, and their parents, and you're going in their homes, and you don't realize that's what you're doing. You don't think about it that way, but of course now I realize I was selling the whole time I was there at West Point. So I you know I said, you know what, I'll try it because Jeff, the managing director, said to me, Lynn, you'll be making a mistake if you don't at least try it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I basically had someone hold my hand. I did joint work my whole first year so I could learn as much as I could. And nowadays, the new reps want to go out after the first month sometimes, but I just didn't have the confidence. So it took me a whole year to go out on an appointment by myself. And after that, though, I realized this is actually a great career, and I really liked it. And I have found out since then that a lot of athletes and coaches do go into this industry and do very well, and it suits them. And I can understand why. I mean, you're competitive, you don't give up, just because. So if you work with someone and you try to get them to work with you, and eventually they say no, they don't want to work with you. I mean, you just move on to the next person. I mean, there's a lot involved, obviously a lot of work, but hey, coaching was the same way. So to me, the transition wasn't a big deal, in
Yeah.
terms of time and hours that you need to spend, because coaching for me was 24/7. You're on weekends, you're either recruiting, you're on the road, you're playing, or you're entertaining recruits on campus. Um, so I mean, just something all the time going on. So I think the workload and the challenge, the fact that every day is different. You do different things at different times of the year, just like in coaching, or I don't know. I just felt like, and you're always meeting new people, and you're sitting down, you're across the table from them, talking to them, just like I did with recruits. I'm just not in the gym, obviously, talking about planning, but it's nice to see people who I started working with as players. They developed and became seniors, and they really developed into really good players. And then now with people that I work with, some of them I see them when they're single, then I'm with them when they're married, they have children, and they buy a house. Life has changed for them. So we do generational planning. So I mean, it's just nice to see on both sides. They're kind of parallel. It's
Yeah.
really parallel professions.
Well, it is interesting that the experience that some of my bank clients have had over the years in recruiting has led them to focus in their on-campus recruiting to athletes, primarily because of the things you're talking about, the discipline that they have, their ability to manage their time, their competitiveness, which in the financial services sector, whether you're in banking or whether you're in the financial advisory world, is something of value. But I am curious because when you think about moving from coaching at West Point to Northwestern Mutual, part of the process is developing a network. And I'm curious how you've gone about that over the course of your career. What have you learned about networking?
Yeah, when I stopped coaching, I was still living at West Point. My husband was still coaching because he was the men's soccer coach there. So I was living there, and so my whole world was really West Point. So the county is Orange County, and I feel like I had just when I started going out, someone asked me to be in a networking group in Newburgh, which is in Orange County. And I didn't know what that was. And I said, okay. So that was my first experience. And I said, oh, this is where everybody gets to meet each other and connect and you try to help each other. And that's where I started. But I realized that there was a whole world outside of West Point that you're just so keyed into West Point and the life there that it's almost like you don't realize what's going on the outside world. It's crazy. And it was like a whole new world for me. And so I really got into networking. I started going to New York City a lot. I cultivated a lot of clients there. I joined quite a few networking groups, which I'm still a member of, different ones, but I'm in some groups now that have been really helpful to me. And it really gives you license to call people because you're in the same, you can call them and and try to help them. And I try to connect people quite a bit because I try to understand what they do as professionals. But yeah, the networking has been a big part of my career.
We actually first connected through Michael Goldberg, who
Yeah.
I've always viewed as one of the best coaches of networking. This is a shout out to Michael, but one of his beliefs about networking is one, and this is similar to what I think coaches have to do in preparing their teams. You have to be prepared. You have to think about what you're actually going to do during, if it's an event, how you're going to present yourself. I remember once dealing with Michael. I didn't know who he was, but it was a session for people that were in the speaking business, and it was a simulation. And somehow I got paired with Michael, and he was asking me all these questions, and I go, oh my, these are great questions. And then afterwards, it turns out he's not only coaching people on, he's written books on networking, but he's a master networker. And so you have to think about what you're going to do in the event, and then you have to follow up because if you don't follow up, in essence, you have nothing. You've squandered a lot of time and energy. But shout out to Michael for this. But let me switch tracks a little bit and move into the coaching arena. Uh, One of the things that I read, and I'll share the quote with you. This is a quote from Sports Illustrated writer Jack McCallum, which I've carried around on a 3x5 card for a long time. He said, at its base, at its root, coaching is the same at every level. It's a matter of reading the team, motivating the players who are short on drive, propping up the ones who lack confidence, and challenging the ones who are too self assured. This was written a bunch of years ago. But I'm curious, as a coach, and looking at it maybe now through the eyes of somebody who's been in the financial services sector for a long time, what would you say is important when it comes to coaching, say, high performers? And maybe then, is there anything different about coaching people who are just starting in their careers? Sort of message for bank sales managers.
That's interesting. Well, I think what Jack McCallum said is so true, and I look at, the Final Four just happened,
Mm-hmm.
and UConn won the national championship. And if you look at the level of player, I mean, they're the highest level of female players, in the country. Besides, now we have pro women, but at the highest level of college if you think about it, if you know who Paige Beckers is, you could tell he challenged her a lot and handled her differently than he handled some of the other players. And I and and she's terrific. I mean, she's just incredibly skilled player. So what he's saying is so true. I think a player like that, someone who's already very accomplished, they need to be challenged. They really need to be challenged. And the people who are just starting out or maybe they're struggling, they need to be encouraged and shown how, shown the right way, and they need to be guided. So I think, and they need confidence building. So, like you said, the ones that are very confident already, they need to be pushed, they need to be challenged. So I think that's actually true. I know you already said that, but it makes sense, it's definitely true. And yeah, I think really reading every player or every employee and really trying to understand who these people are that you're working with. And if you really care about them, you'll treat them all differently because they're all different people, and you're gonna get results by working with them in their space, not your space.
Yeah, I think it's very true. And coaching, it's not a one size fits all. Everybody really has to think as a leader, as a manager, you're coaching an individual. Yes, you have a team element, but breaking it down for individuals is really, really critical. And I think whether it's sports or whether it's the financial services industry, if you're trying to help people get better, you have to start with where they are. So let me ask a question about you made a comment early on that when you transition from coaching to financial services, it took you a while to get confident. How do you build confidence in somebody who may be lacking in confidence?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it just took the repetitive doing it over and over again, and realizing, oh, finally, oh, I can take a fact, because when you meet people, you take a fact at the time, and we still do, you do a fact finder. And to me, it was overwhelming to look at Dan. He was my partner. And I'd go, wow, how do you know to ask all those questions? And you know how to go, and to me, it looked like, wow, that's really good. It was overwhelming to me. And then, but then after doing it, a few hundred times, you realize, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. I think repetition, and that was true in coaching. I mean, one year we were number one in the country in scoring defense, but all we did was play man-to-man defense, and we did these drills over and over. My kids were so good at all the different at playing defense in all the different situations on the court because we did these drills every day, and they got really good at it. And it's no different in the industry, whether it's banking or financial service, uh, what I do, insurance investments, it's in planning. I mean, you get really good when you do it over and over. And, there's in my industry, there are so many specialties. I'll bring in the expert if it's something that I don't, I haven't done a lot of, which is fine. And you learn from them. And I don't have to be the expert in everything. I'm never gonna be.
Well, I think that's important, and it's important to realize that the team nature of selling financial services is such that most generalists need to draw on the expertise of their colleagues or need to draw on the expertise of people in their network in order to really service their clients. So let me ask as a final question, sort of a personal one. I know you play basketball today, continue to play at a very high level on a team that's won many championships. I guess I'm curious about, one, why you keep playing and what it means to you in your current at this stage in your life, why it's important for you to continue that kind of activity. What do you get out of it?
Um, I don't know. Because I want to play. I've always played. I've been playing since I was 10 years old. So I've never really stopped. But I just feel like I love it so much. And the fact that when I would compete in college, it was so disappointing when it was over. When my 4 years of eligibility were over, it was really devastating to me. And after that, I would play pickup. When I worked at West Point, we played noontime hoops every day. It was great. It's fun. But when I got in my 50s, I found out in my later 50s, somebody called me and asked me to play on a team, and I was like, wow, there's actually a team I could play on. And I played for this Massachusetts team, and then eventually we became the Connecticut Classics. And I've been playing now since 2012 with a core group of women, and we compete all over the country. So the fact that we can compete, and we've actually put together such a great team. We've been able to win all these, 5 national championships, and we're going for our 6th this year in July. We've won just about every state tournament that we've entered since we started in 2013. We just haven't had many losses. So I really, this group of women are so close. And we have so much fun together, and we've done a lot. We've done a lot in the last 10 years. So I don't know. It's really, now I forgot the question.
You answered it perfectly, Lynn. I think you obviously continued
I
the
love it.
passion you have for sports, and
Yeah.
it enriches your life, and it's probably a message to all of us that we don't have to resign ourselves to vicarious thrills in sports. Whatever it is, we need to find something that's going to
Oh yeah,
keep us
yeah.
energized and do things that are going to make
And
us
it's
successful.
Yeah, and it's my motivation to stay fit, because you have to be fit to play. Because this is not, I mean, you go on the court, uh, yeah, I mean, you got to have the cardio, or you're gonna die.
All right. Lynn, this has been great fun. I appreciate your spending time on this Ned Talks, and I wish you couple things. One, continued success with Northwestern Mutual, and also continued success at the competitive level of basketball that you continue to play, because it's really inspiring. So thanks for being part of this conversation.
Thank you, Ned. I really appreciate it. It was really nice to chat with you, and I'll let you know when our next game is.
Very much interested in that. Thanks again.